Hi, and welcome to another episode here of Why Arizona on the Rensler One Network. We are excited today. We are going to talk about money, cash money, straight money, everything. The cool thing is it's April. I'm thinking about taxes. I bought a house. I got married. I got a lot of questions, and today we're going to get answers. But you know what's cool about it is I don't even bank with these people, and that's why they're here, because they're going to tell us about just being a great community partner as we talk about money. And you know how awkward money is. So, without further ado, let's welcome today's guests, Tim and Tara from Landings Credit Union. Hello.
What's going on, Zach?
Hi, Zach. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm excited. And, you know, I talk all the time. Like, I talk all the time. But two, I talk about money because in life, it's about, like, I got to go to college because I want to make money. I got to go to college because how am I going to pay for college? So then I'm going to try to make more money, but it costs money to make money. And everywhere we go in life, it's money.
It's circular. That reasoning is circular, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on today's episode, the things we're going to talk about, I have my own questions because, as I mentioned before, I've got things I want to learn. But the people at Landings, I want you to do this. So if you're listening, if you're watching, you can Google Landings Credit Union. And this is what I did. Is I went to Google and I thought, okay, who are these people? How can I get connected and what do they do? And when you Google them, of course, you see some logos, but you see their employees in the community. And I was very fortunate enough to get connected with them last October, and I was going to speak on behalf of Don't Sleep on Planes, which is about the power of connecting with people. And I realized that these are people that, of course, in any business you're in, you're there to sell things, but their mission statement is truly being a community partner. Tell me that that's the truth, and how is that? You guys are a bank. You're here to handle money, keep money, get more money, but yet you guys are so community-based.
Yeah, so it's interesting how you can be a business but not really be your focus.
Yeah.
And we truly are. We're community partners. Our biggest, most important thing is our members and helping to grow them and make them better people and members of the community. And so, yeah, so not only are we helping our members, but we're really big in the community.
So this episode, we're not going to talk about opening up accounts. No. We're not going to talk about any of that. I think the reason we're here today is so cool that you're helping people understand money with no strings attached. There's nowhere else you can go and do that. So tell me how tell me what it's called first off, and tell me how it came about.
Yeah, so we're really excited about the Franklin Club. It's just...
I love Ben Franklin. You know, that's my... I don't have too many of them, but I love them.
That's your guy, right? That's your guy?
I think it's everybody's guy. Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of create an atmosphere where people feel it's just unobtrusive. You come in and you eat some food and you drink some non-alcoholic drinks. And then, you sit around and you talk with people and you just kind of kick it. And then... pretty soon, a couple of people get in front and they talk a little bit, but it's very conversational. So we're really just flipping the script on financial education, but creating this really just awesome atmosphere to do it in. That's what we're excited about.
So Landings, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit, and we're not going to talk about it anymore. Right. Been in the community for a long time. How many years now?
65 years this year.
And I'm from Maryvale. I've never seen a Landing. So why haven't I seen a Landings in Maryvale or West Phoenix? It's very community driven. So where are you guys at, and why is that important?
So we've got four branches here in the Valley, mostly East Valley, maybe someday West Valley. We'll see.
Come on to the avenues. Right. Got it all out there.
We'll get out there maybe. Yeah. But we're in Gilbert, we're in Mesa, we're in Chandler, and we're in Tempe. Our main location being in Tempe, and we started off as Tempe Schools Credit Union. Okay. So that's what most people are familiar with is Tempe Schools Federal Credit Union. Not federal, just Tempe Schools Credit Union.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, Tara, you can kind of...
So we actually started in the basement of Tempe High School. Some teachers got together and decided that there's got to be a better way for them to hold and spend their money. And so they came up with a credit union back in 1953.
Some teachers, they always got great ideas.
Teachers in the basement of Tempe High, which is down the street from our main branch now. And so they got together and we created Landings Credit Union. And yeah, we're a small credit union, but we are all about our members. And because we're small, we're able to actually serve them, to the fullest.
When I was looking on the website, and one of the things that I really want to go now is we've had Chip Tietzel, who's from ESI, which is Educational Services, Inc. And one of the things that Chip talked about on a previous episode was how we just want to aid teachers as much as we can when they come to Arizona to teach our kids. The one thing I think, if you're listening, if you're watching, if somebody told you about this, the one thing we all know is in school, they teach you about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and they teach you about chemistry and algebra and X plus Y equals B, and they don't teach you about money. So talk to me about how you guys are just in general passionate about helping people with their money.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really sad, honestly, the society we live in. You can't go anywhere and get financial education with zero strings attached. You have to, you can go to school, you can do economics, things like that, but there's nothing that's like, hey, how do I make a budget? Or how do I balance a checkbook? Zach, do you know how to balance a checkbook?
Debits and credits. I just know what comes in better stay in, because if it goes out too much, we're in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
So people use the word balance a checkbook sometimes, and they're like, oh, wait, what's a checkbook? Well, exactly. That's exactly what it is, though, balancing, your debits and your credits. But nobody's teaching that. So we're basically coming in, and like with our first class, we're going to do this financial blueprint thing where we talk about the idea that an architect uses a blueprint as an outline, right? And it shows him kind of the dimensions of where everything needs to go. But he's not the interior designer, okay? He's not coming in and he's not putting wallpaper on the walls and things like that. So it's not like really, it's not just niche like that. It's actually just, an outline. And so that's what we're going to focus on in Financial Blueprint, is this idea that you can get a good outline of your finances to get you started. And then from there, you're going to tailor it to however it's going to work for you. Not a lot of people are teaching that. So we're going to create an atmosphere where they can come and learn that.
So all right. When I think about financial education, I think about getting my first job. So if I'm 16 years old, or if I've got a son or daughter out there that are getting their job, when are we supposed to get a checking account or a savings account? Or like, if I'm a human, like as a man, as a woman, as a child, like I have money coming in. Why do I not put it under the bed?
Well, first of all, security, right?
Okay. Right.
Somebody breaks into your house, you lose everything.
Yeah.
You don't want that. Secondly, you want to just have a way that you can manage that, where you can see what's in there without having to always go and open up the bed and count all your money out and stuff like that. So you have, lots of online banking tools and things like that are out there for you. But certainly, 18 years old, you should have your first checking account. 16, I would think at least, or at the latest, have a savings account.
Okay.
So that you're kind of learning this idea of putting money away and having that for a rainy day, so that you don't have to worry about being poor.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna focus on anybody from anybody who comes through the door
All
for Franklin
ages.
Club.
Okay.
All ages, absolutely. But specifically, we can have some time at Franklin Club, even before and after, to discuss some specifics like that. Like, hey, I'm an 18-year-old kid. I just graduated from high school. What do I do? Let's get you a checking account, and let's talk about how you can use these tools to help better your life.
So while we're talking about high school kids, you guys have a partnership with EVIT, which is the East Valley Institute of Technology. Yeah. Talk about, this school is awesome in general because they're teaching students real-life applications every day. So uniquely, you guys have this partnership with EVIT. What are these students at EVIT learning, and how is the Franklin Club almost like an all-ages version of this?
So at EVIT, we actually have a branch on campus, the one in Mesa, and it's a student-run branch. So the first-year students are actually learning like the basics of actual banking. So they're learning everything that an MSR or a teller would learn when they're first learning. And then the second year, they're actually in the branch doing the transactions with the
branch.
members. Yes,
like
it's an actual branch.
They're live.
Yes.
Lights are on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, would I know that they're a student, or like I just know that they've passed a test to be behind the counter?
The only way you would probably know that they're a student is they have different colored shirts than everybody else.
I'm looking.
Just kidding. But of course, everything is, we've got regular employees there as well.
That's really cool.
So yeah, it's pretty
So
cool.
in general, like you guys talk about how community impactful is. So we talk about managing money at, like I mentioned, I just got married. And so maybe I'll ask a question for anybody out there who just got married, combining accounts. Like, can we just talk, like, I'm going to ask you questions as if like, I want this to be like the Hall Club. So like it's our own little Franklin Club at the Hall, but we know the Franklin's big money. The Hall is just happy to be here. So I just got married. What do I do now with my money? And how do we, now what?
Well, it's whatever works for you, honestly, Zach. But one thing that we're going to talk about in Franklin Club is this idea that when you're married, you could have 3 accounts. One for you, one for your wife, and then one for both of you together.
Okay.
And
Scares me.
Yeah.
I love my wife. I love my wife.
I love my wife
Yes,
too.
that's right.
But
I love my husband.
you have that middle account, and that's where all your bills come out of.
Okay.
And then the other 2 accounts are kind of like, so you can buy her flowers, and she's not
Right.
like, hey, what is this charge coming out of the account, right? Or she can go pick you up something that you want, and you can be signers on the account, or you don't have to. Whatever you want to do, depends how much trust you have in your
And
relationship.
direct
I guess.
deposit stays in mine?
Right, direct
Okay,
deposit.
Good.
Yeah, your direct deposit.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Direct deposit comes to your account, and then you can have it go out to other
Right.
places. But quite honestly, I mean, it's what works for you, and that's what we're gonna be discussing at Franklin Club. Is just kind of, hey, here's an idea. You can take this idea and run with it, or maybe it's not going to work for you. That's just one idea.
You guys have 65 years of experience, and I told you I don't bank with Landings, and I have had my own since my first. Liz Marcoux, who we're gonna have on the show, she's a wedding planner now. She was my best friend in first grade. I knew her growing up, and she became a teller, and so she became the first person to open up my first checking account at 16, my first credit card at 18, and now she's kind of helped me through understanding like financial fitness. So in talking about that, I got my first credit card at 18. And I'm going to be honest, like I thought I was balling. Like
Right.
I bought some things and then I worked to not be able to pay back those things. And then I kind of got in this revolving cycle of having a credit card. So the blessing and the curse is I was at Home Depot yesterday and I could have got a credit card. And then the day before that, I was at TJ Maxx. I could have got another credit card. It is so easy today. Nobody taught me not to have a lot. One, nobody teaches you not to have too many credit cards, but then the credit bureau says you need to have a lot of lines of credit. What's happening? Teach me, just give me some feedback on what is the right number of credit cards. And I don't know these things.
I mean, again, there's a lot of experts out there that'll
Yeah.
tell you what to do with your money. People know Dave Ramsey. He's a household name. People know people like Susie Orman. They know, the rich dad, poor dad guy. So there's a lot of different philosophies out there about how you can handle your money. The easiest way to put it is don't spend more money than you have.
Always.
Right?
That's
Always.
a great,
that's
there's times where you figure you got to learn some things.
right.
But, yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And sometimes what credit cards can do is they can help you to purchase a more big ticket item. The key is to have the discipline to pay it back. The key is to have a plan. So a lot of times people just run their card and they don't have any kind of plan on how to pay that back. Or they say, oh, it's 0% interest for a certain period of time. They don't pay it off before that 0% interest, then they have to pay the interest on the entire amount that they owe at that point. And it just becomes this revolving cycle.
Oh, I could see it already.
And it's rough. And there's a lot of people who do it. And that's it's become the norm, unfortunately. And so it's certainly something we're going to address with Franklin Club in one of our later meetings where we'll talk about knowing the core of your score. And that one's coming up in June. But we'll certainly touch on that in Financial Blueprint as well.
So Franklin Club, this is something that you guys are doing. It's unique. You're talking about financial. It's all ages. So let's talk right now. It's April. And I just filed. I have got to file my taxes next week. So I'm about to get my tax person on the phone when we leave here. But to that same point, I'm stressing and I'm putting it off because we're all stressed. Money makes you really awkward. You're almost bound to how much you have, how much you need, and hope. We all pray for more, but sometime it's going to come and whatever. But I guess the point here is I'm worried about money now at tax time. I should be worried about money all year round. So talk about this Franklin Club. What kind of things is uniquely being taught in this? And what can I gain? And how long does it take? Am I coming for a couple hours? Franklin Club, what do we got?
Yeah, so it's going to be anywhere from a hour and a half, 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
Come
basically.
as you are.
Come as you are.
Yeah.
Have some food. We'll have some refreshments. We're gonna have time to do one-on-one consultation if you want to. We're gonna go over all of those things that you just talked about. We can talk about tax season. We can talk about the benefits of having a mortgage and being able to write off some of your the interest paid. We can talk about things like how does a refinance affect your tax situation? How does getting married affect your tax situation? All those things, head of household versus doing married and filed jointly. all those kind of different scenarios, we have a little bit of expertise in that. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, is just say, hey, we're kind of financial experts, between the two people who are going to be presenting in our first one. We have, almost 35 years of experience in financial world. And so we can answer those questions based on personal experience. We can base them on, just practical thinking. But just come and try to learn something. That's really what it's about.
And as we go, it's going to get more, we'll be able to tailor it more to what our members are asking for. So we are covering topics such as credit score and buying a home and, what's some of the other
retirement?
Ones? Yeah, retirement. And these are all things that we've heard our members say that they wanted to learn about. So, but we may find as we go along that they want more information on filing your taxes. And so we'll be able to, as we continue on, we'll be able to tailor it to more of what everybody is asking for.
So let's do this. So I'm looking forward to something like a Franklin Club. I always call them heaters. Can you give me a heater? Like, drop some knowledge on me really quick. Like, if I had one of those questions, like, can you provide me of something like a little snippet of what I would get at Franklin Club? So let's talk about like me being married and head of household, or my taxes, or writing off interest. Like, can you give our listeners and our viewers right now a little snippet of advice that they might pick up, that just by watching this, they're already ahead of the game, so now they'll want to come?
I mean, I think the biggest thing when you're talking about financial blueprint, which is our first one that we're going to do here, so we've got a lot of focus on that right now.
Yeah,
the biggest
gotta
thing,
have a blueprint to build a house.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So you've got to figure out, number one, you've got to figure out if you're going to be a cash-based budget, you're going to be electronic-based. There's a lot of people who will say, cash is king. Cash is king. You've heard this said before,
Forever.
right? But then as technology keeps evolving, there's so many different tools out there.
I want to get my points.
Right, you got to get your points.
I'm trying to get my miles, my
Right.
points.
Yes.
But my perfect
Yes.
example. So my wife likes to use the debit card, and I love it because she doesn't want to have a credit card debt. I am trying to crush our Southwest credit card and everything we buy, because I know that these are going to translate to miles, to translate to trips, which we're going to spend more money on. But like, now it's about understanding, I guess, having self-control, but also understanding that $1 isn't worth $1 anymore. If you play the game the right way, $1 might be worth $1.1 if you have the right credit card or the right account set up.
Right.
Okay.
Let me drop some knowledge on you real quick.
Got a heater.
Okay. So there's actually scientific proof out there that says that when you spend money with a credit card, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't create the same response in your brain as when you spend it with cash. Okay?
Okay.
So this science says that when you use cash and you give that cash to the person at the store,
You feel it.
there's pain. Okay, there's a pain
right.
response
Yes, there is.
because you have lost something.
Yes.
When you run your card for the same amount, you feel nothing.
Ain't nothing but a thing.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is there's no feeling to it anymore. People don't see it as real money, and that's how you get in trouble. So we're going to try to get in front of that with Franklin Club, certainly with talking about this financial blueprint.
So let's shift gears then. Let's go into career mode. So I went to ASU. I went to community college, had an idea what I wanted to do. Then I was like, I'm going to go to ASU and study business. And then I was working in sports and doing my thing, and I went and got my MBA. I'm 31 years old. I have no idea what I want to be when I get older. I'm still figuring out. You want to tell me about your path and like working in finance? Always, like, I mean, I wore a nice button down today. I knew we were doing the finance show, so I wanted to dress like a banker. But then you guys come in here working at a bank wearing t-shirts. But tell me your career path, and like, let's drop some knowledge on. I mean, we work in marketing, and you're on the banking side. Like, tell me about your career path, so that way, if there's college kids out there, or whatever, like, how do they get to do what you do?
Well, there is a saying in credit unions that nobody grows up and goes to school to go work in a credit union. But then when you join a credit union or you start working for a credit union, all of a sudden you're stuck because not that you're stuck in a bad way, but because you just fall in love with the environment and the people helping people philosophy, which is not just our credit union. It's like the whole, they call it a movement of credit unions. So backstory, I didn't know anything about credit unions. I hadn't ever been with a credit union. I was out looking for a marketing job. And so I had applied at a credit union or at Landings, and they actually asked me why I wanted to work for Landings. And I'm like, because I
need a
like
job?
marketing.
No.
And they know the story, so I don't have a problem telling
Yeah.
it. But, and then I found it, and I came and I've had some really great opportunities working with Landings and at Landings. And it's like the place, my home that I never knew I needed to be. So
really cool.
whether I'm with Landings or if I move on within the credit union movement, I found my home.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And now you do something completely different.
Yeah, so I'm a universal banker, or MSR, whatever you want to call me.
Right.
So you know like the yen and you know all the international like universal dollars. What's Mars trading right now? Like it's not the same.
Not exactly
All
that.
right,
No,
noted.
no.
Right, doesn't work. Okay, continue
so,
on.
So I've been in banking for about 15 years. I started off on the banking side with another financial institution, a very large financial institution that happens to have the American flag in their logo. But anyway, I was with them. I was just in kind of a customer service role, and kind of just grew out of that. Wanted to go work for a credit union. Had a friend who was working at a credit union. She was like, "Hey, you need to come over here." Okay, let's go do this. So I went to a credit union. Just realized that the culture was so much different. This idea of people helping people is really truly what we do at the credit union on an everyday basis. There's never this thought of like, oh, we need to reach this quota, or we need to sell this many things in one day or whatever. Certainly we want to make money, but that's not the number one end all and be all with a credit union. Whereas with a bank, a lot of times it's the bottom line. And a lot of times it's just a business in that way. Not trying to bash on banks at all. I'm simply just saying there's a different culture, and I've been on both sides of it.
Yeah.
So I've been able to work, do a lot of things with the credit union. I've been with Landings for almost a year now, but before that, I was with another financial institution for about 11 years.
You're a finance guy.
Yeah,
this is your lane.
I love it. Yeah,
That's why
this is what I
him.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I brought both of you.
Yeah,
Who am I
exactly.
kidding?
Exactly.
So as we kind of wrap up here, it's like let's talk a bit. How can people learn more about Franklin Club?
So we've got it on our website. There's certainly a link right when you go to LandingsCU.org. You can click on Franklin Club. Otherwise, we have LandingsCU.org/Franklin Club.
Yeah.
And that's where we have all the information on Franklin Club. We are hoping to launch some social media channels specifically for Franklin Club, but right now it's just Landings on Instagram, on
LandingsCU.
Yeah, LandingsCU.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Drop the heat. Here we got another heater.
It's LandingsCU
Okay.
on all platforms.
All platforms.
Yeah.
So, one, I don't bank with Landings, but if I follow you on social media, are you providing the same kind of Franklin Club content? Or maybe that's something we could do together and just start sharing. I think the one thing in social media is I get so in love with what's Justin Bieber doing.
Right.
Justin Timberlake's coming. Like, what's he doing? Where's he eating?
Right.
When he comes to town, where can I see him? But I'm following pop culture. I think I could be better at following things that probably make more sense. So if people want to get connected, how are you going to share more information every day?
So one of the hardest things about social media and being a financial institution is nobody wants to connect with their financial institution.
Or not, or your
Let's go
rival
on to
institution.
right.
Yeah.
So we actually, the platform that we provide, it's more educational. We try not to, market Landings that much and just provide educational tools so that when you maybe are looking for some information that you happen upon us.
You feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Franklin Club, we're going to learn about our money, how to hold it. We're going to build our blueprints, which I think is a great way to think about it.
Yes.
As we're always going to be stressed about money. And I know as you're watching, as you're listening, I feel like at church, at church, there's always the money service and you're like, oh my gosh, here we go. This is important stuff to talk about. And I think I'm very passionate about having these guys on today because we had Chip Tietzel and he talked about educators and how important it is to have great teachers and supporting them. And so now we're talking about money because if you have questions about money, comment, tag. We want to ask the right questions and we want to find the right answers. And so I think as a community, we're very fortunate enough to have somebody like Landings here to provide the heaters when it comes to dollars. So anything else? Can we talk about money anywhere else? What did we forget? Anything? This is cool to me. I love the fact that no matter what you do, you're always going to have questions about money. And there's somebody like yourself just answering without a 1-800 number, without asking for $5,
Right.
without asking for a monthly fee. That's awesome.
You just hit on something really, really big, and that is that money makes people uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Talking about money makes people uncomfortable. Come to Franklin Club. It's not going to be uncomfortable.
And
We're going to have
no
a
strings
good time.
attached.
No strings attached.
What kind of food? Because you said there's some food and drink, so I just want to make sure there's no such thing as a free meal, but we're gonna get one here.
So we're going to drop some pizza
Okay.
and soda in the first meeting.
Local pizza, somewhere good.
We're planning on working with some local
Awesome.
restaurants.
We're all about
and getting
that.
some catering.
We had Pizzeria Bianco on. I don't know how they cater because they're always doing good.
I don't think we can get in there.
But either way, we've got some people around here we love to connect you with.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this has been another episode of the Why Arizona podcast. We're growing. We're telling greater stories. It's April. We're talking about money. You know, the summertime's coming. So, you know, in a future episode, we might talk about building summer bodies. We might talk about taking care of our bodies. We're going to talk to Cartel Coffee. We've got some incredible guests lined up. And if you know somebody that should be a great guest or should just hang out with me on the couch, we got plenty of chairs. We got plenty of stories to tell. And there's so much more to come all summer long here on Why Arizona. So if you know somebody, tag them. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us. This is Why Arizona. We'll see you next time.